Hello and welcome to Model Railroad Design Roasts. This is the video series diving into your layout submissions with expert insights and a sprinkle of fun. We'll review each design respectfully, offering tips to refine your track plans, scenery, or operations, all to fuel the passion of model railroading. Want your layout featured? Check the link down below. And let's kick things off with today's layout submission. So here's the design of today. It's a somewhat walk-in type of design. There does seem to be a lift gate. We have two quite big blobs, or 2.5 you could say. There's a helix under this one here on the top, and there's a helix down below here. And we have a huge return loop. It has some industries here, and then a yard. Good, let's go through it. One of the requirements from the client is the radius. He wanted prototypical radius, radii, and let me jump in here. What do we have? We measure it 50 inch and 45 inch. So it says 54 and 50. Maybe this is a mistake. Maybe he meant 45. I don't even know, because that's what this is. So I think that was a mistake. Anyways, here we have a very large radius as well, which is nice. It's a yard. You want to have large radii. Let's not focus too much on that for now, but this is 54, if you're wondering. It goes all the way out to 64. So if you like walk-in designs, or if you don't like walk-in designs, please do like this video. Thank you very much. So let's have a bit of a look and understanding of the room first. And he also sent a picture. What do we have? So we have a room back here, and then some space here in the front, and there is this, probably supporting wall where he cut some holes out for the train to go through. So if you see that, then here's the room we were just looking at. Here is the wall with the holes, one on the left, one on the right. And then we have another room here, and then on the bottom seems to be some, well, what does it say? Swing out, garage doors, solar, etc. can be accessed from outside. Okay, fine. I actually was thinking this might be an old garage, but okay. There's also a staging deck. So you see there's a helix, and here a return loop underneath the helix. And here is a return loop as well underneath the helix. Is it? No, it's actually not, because it goes from this section there to there. So let's have a look. So let's go back to the top deck and let's just see a little bit what we're seeing. So we're going to do everything in reverse order today, and we're going to start with the track plan and just some things that I spotted there. And then we're going to look if we can find a bit of a better or different layout shape in this room. It's a bit of an awkward space, to be honest, with these walls here. Let's see, let's figure that out. And we need to talk a little bit about the radius. Let's just start with that, because this is, yeah, it's bigger than it has to be. But then again, I understand if you're running modern day or even the steam era with long engines, that you want a long radius because it just looks much better. But I think the keynote is you do need to have space for that. So looking that down here, we have, I think it was a 27-inch radius. He is open to mixing different radiuses. That doesn't have to always be 45 minimum across the layout. But there are areas like down here, I wonder, like, what is really the point of this? Because this is like a electrical room, so no one's really gonna be there, I think. So you might as well just take a 30-inch, go straight, and then take a 30-inch. But I do have some ideas about that, so more about that in a bit. Let's start with a yard. And ties a little bit into how this track plan can work. So if we come here on the main track, then I'm just going to highlight it. Then the main line is at the back of the yard. I don't think you're going to go through the yard through these tracks, because that has a different purpose. I just put out a guide on yard design, so do have a look. There's probably a link on the screen right now for that guide, in case you're wondering what all these tracks are, or should be, or could be. So then if we go here, follow this track. And I know some viewers have commented that this is difficult to see, hence I added this red arrow, which I shall use in a minute. So following the track here on the outside of the yard, you actually only have the option to go into staging. So I don't know if that's intended or not, but there's no way to go around the yard and to make use of this lift gate. There's no path there. So pointing that out, there's no way to cross from the main line as such here on the left to the track here on the right. Didn't really get how he wants to operate the layout, but I think to have, let's say you don't typically want to have trains coming from this track here and then going over the bridge, it would be a really nice feature to have because that means you can run continuously on the top deck. And that's handy if you need to run in an engine or program an engine or all sorts of things. So, and you have the space here. So I would suggest just have a crossover going from this track to that track. Now there's no yard lead on this side of the yard, which normally is fine. There is one on the other side. Just point that out. I think it would be, because that's an industry, these two tracks, so I think this would be the yard lead right here. And another thing to note, is quite a big yard, which is great. But I always want to try to balance the layout a bit. So what are we going to do with this big yard? So this whole section here is yard. And then there's a run here, which is nice. And then we go into this industrial area. So there's more run. And then we can do this loop and then come back, or we cut this run short and we go into helix. We want to avoid a little bit that we go from staging to yard to staging. I believe it's nice to have a bit of a run, especially if you're prioritizing runs, right? So you do want to have a little bit of a run. I think that might be something we can look at. And one other thing to keep in mind is if you have a long yard, you're probably planning on running long trains. So then this train length here would occupy almost this whole section here. And then it would also occupy this whole section right here. So if you are going to be switching this with a full train length, then you're just basically blocking everything up. So that is something to think about. Of course, you can have a smaller local or extra or anything serving this whole area. Now let's look at this industrial area here. And the client did have one question/concern when arriving here, let's say from the north, and you want to go to this industrial area here on the left side of the track, then you have to pull in here and then back up because the only access is to this one piece of track right here. And the question is this setup, does it work? Is it fun? Is it enjoyable? Do we want to mimic that? And the answer can definitely be yes. We do need to watch out a little bit. If we zoom in, you're basically building a time saver because there's one siding here and everything is off that siding. So it's, yeah, more or less a time saver design. The thing why I think it can work is pulling in from this one track here. Most of the tracks are facing, so it's a relatively straightforward job to do. You just back up and switch the cars out. I do want to note that these, yeah, let's zoom in a bit. Like, how would that actually work, right? Because you're coming in here with a stack of cars, but then the turnouts are all on the other side of the siding. So that is a bit of a tricky one. How would that actually work, right? Because it always means you need to do a switchback to get to the other side of the siding. So maybe a small adaptation you could do is something like this, that when you're coming in from the track, is you can choose already here which one of the two sidings you're gonna pull into. That will get much easier because everything is, like I said, facing. Because then all the cars you pull from this industry, you can spot here immediately on this right track, and then you can spot all the other cars. Yeah. So something simple like that can really make a big difference in how to operate this and how to find these things in your own track plan. It's just to run through it. An engine arrives, do it both directions, from the south and from the north. Where's the engine? Where are the cars? How do you get where? How would you actually physically do it, right? Now, if you're looking at this video and thinking, I can use some help like that, there are different ways to interact with the channel. There is this roast video that you see here. Check the links in the usual descriptions. You can also book a 2-hour, let's say, chat session where we can talk about any design ideas that you might have or a design that's finished. We can do that through a call or through email. And of course, you can also do a complete custom design. More details in the description down below. So now looking into the actual track plan, because I see a lot of warnings here from the system about tight radiuses. Let's just have a little bit of a look. What always makes the track plan look, I think, a little bit more, well, nicer, is if we just align some of the tracks. So here we can just add another one parallel to it, so it looks a little bit nicer. This turnout is not going to work in this location. This is a curved turnout. I mean, it can work, but you gotta put it more in the curve, right? So it would have to be somewhere maybe there, or maybe it's not going to work at all. Curve turnouts are very tricky to place when you're using predefined ones or something like that. Also, have a look at your onsets for the curves. There seems to be maybe some kind of onset in here, but there is a button in any rail to add onset, to make onsets. So have a look at that. And down below, there was some comment. I think he mentioned that there's a piece of track that's deliberately very tight. It must be this. What is it? 12-inch. So if you want to switch this industry, you have to use cars as a handle because the engine cannot go here to get to this section. That could all well be. I think 12-inch might be a bit tight for that. And personally, I like the idea. I wouldn't commit to it to such an extent. You know, if we just smooth this out a bit, and there's another tip. So here, let's just kind of connect. Let's make this actual straight track. I think that would look a little bit nicer. Of course, it can be aligned, but let's get rid of some of these like undefined track curves, right? And then we can smooth this out, and then you see we're at 20-inch radius. So that's relatively tight for the layout, but it's still negotiable. So if you would have a small switcher, you could still switch it. And you're not really dependent on having like a handle cars. You can still operate it with handle cars, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't go to the extreme of making it 12-inch or anything like that. Stuff like this obviously needs to be smoothed out. And then looking more at this, this is, what is it, a PECO curve turnout. Yeah, this is a massively broad turnout. It doesn't seem very realistic. They would take this really broad turnout then to go to a tight section of track. So I would delete this one. Have a look at the Walters turnouts because they have tighter radii. Yeah, that might fit better, or just take another straight one like that, or Y. You know, Ys are often used when you're in a pinch, and see how that would all work out, right? And then here we have this section over here. I think this is also, looking at it, there must be some kind of grade here. Yeah, there's a bridge here. So this recycling goes up or down. This is also a very known puzzle setup, basically, where you would go up here in a dead end spur and then reverse back. Thing to keep in mind, and I've said it, I think also in my last video, is railroads, they don't make challenging operation areas. They solve them so you can switch them faster. So this one here is, well, I wouldn't say challenging, but yeah, it could be more efficient. And this one, yeah, just has a lot of switchbacks. I would not do something like this unless it's very prototypical and you really want to do exactly this, but I wouldn't do that, to be honest. And I've noticed in my own layout as well that if you make it smooth so you can switch an area fast, it's actually quite enjoyable, opposed to just endlessly pingling up and down and going through turnouts to do switchbacks. That is a personal preference. Now going to these holes in the wall, look at the picture again, these holes right here, trying to cleverly disguise them. I don't know if I would put 2 grain elevators for the same trick. Might be a bit much because coming from this area, you'll see, yeah, both of them. But yeah, you have to do something with that hole. Maybe just a fictitious tunnel or a road, like a viaduct that crosses over it to disguise it. Yeah, I think that's most of the track covered. Now, I do want to talk a bit about the room shape. People wondering, oh, what about the staging? I'm not really going to go into the staging. It's all relatively straightforward. And we'll get back to that a little bit now in the room shape. So I came up with something else. So let's zoom out and have a look at the general layout shape. So normally you want to get the longest length possible in a room. And this room is cut up with this wall, so it's very tricky. So I actually did a really nice job to put this yard in this, say, banana shape to then miss this section of wall. I like that. However, I have another idea. And also these radii, they're just not really helping, to be honest. But let's see what we can preserve from that and maybe compromise a little bit here and there. So I came up with this. Now, do note this is just a basic general shape. You can make all this benchwork more organic and fill it in and all that. But this is the general concept. So for the longest length, looking at the wall here on the right is shorter. So, and you have quite a big hallway or distance between the two walls. So I would try to make the longest length possible in the corridor here. You did the same on the other side, but I would do it on this side because this wall is shorter. Um, and have it all the way. This whole section would then be the longest length because it's relatively straight. There's an S bend in it, but it's nothing like the banana shape we had there. Um, so yeah, I would do that. And then what would I do? Let's have a look up here. So we still have, what is this? 45-inch radius. But I would highly compromise on the radius here because you're viewing it from the inside. So it's not as bad as when you view it from the outside. From the outside, when you're standing, let's say here in this blob, and you look at this radius, that's where you need a big radius. When you're standing here on this blob, let's say, and you see the inside radius is less offensive when it's tight. By tight, it's relatively tight. It's 30-inch. So some people would dream of a 30-inch radius, but I would do something like that. So you have your radius here, you have a nice curve, but then on the inner loop, you just have to compromise. You know, it is what it is. You can always put it in a tunnel or in a city to mask it up, or in a cut and fill in the land or whatever. But that's what I would do, to be honest. And then what would we do with the rest of the layout? Well. Let's just continue in this direction. So the yard is here. You have this massive island, so you can put a roundhouse if you want, or an engine facility, or nothing, or a hill, or whatever. So engine, so yard, something big, curve, we loop back. This is an area where you can have some industries. The benchwork up here is a bit less deep, it's a bit more shallow, because we want to have this length to be as long as we can. So just have the train run through. Here's a nice section to have the industrial area coming in from the curve, go through the hole in the wall. So you mask that with some kind of bridge, like a viaduct or a hill or cityscape where you go through some tall buildings and then you come out on the other side. And then here you have a helix. Now what I would do is you go down on the helix and then you have staging all the way here again underneath the layout, staging, and then you go up the helix again. And then up the helix again. Yes, let's leave it there. Let me go to the other side because I have some ideas. This is, I think, the biggest change because so far you had more or less the same. So here's the yard, and then from the yard I would dive into the wall here in a tunnel, have this all be hidden track going down 30-inch radius, just making basically a big return loop, and then looping underneath the layout and then going to the helix right here. So no staging here, and then go down the helix. And then again from the helix is to the massive staging there, and then up the other helix. So basically you have a really long loop with staging. You can have return loops underneath the helix. You have trains that go out and come back. I think that's how I would do it, because this, what's the big advantage is you take this bridge away, because in the old design, it just really felt a little bit like the worst of all worlds, where you have this, could have been a nice walk-in layout, but then you have a bridge here because you're getting stuck with the train, and you're getting stuck because of the large radius, and then you have two big surfaces with the helix, and then a big other surface here. I would just make this a return loop, go down, and then into the helix here, something along those lines. I also drew this. This is another possibility, just share an idea that I had. You could also have the train come out here, go up or down, and then cross itself, and then go through the hole in the wall, something like that. That was just an idea I had. And that's it. Hope it was useful, and if you want your design roasted, check the links in the usual places. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.